A desperate mother stranded on a highway with her two children catches the attention of a passing stranger in an expensive car. What starts as a simple offer of help becomes a life-changing opportunity that neither of them expected. But when a billionaire extends his hand to someone who has nothing left to lose, the question isn't just about charity. It's about whether second chances are real, and if trust can exist between two people from completely different worlds. Welcome, beautiful souls, to another journey of hope and transformation. Before we begin, if stories of resilience and unexpected kindness speak to your heart, I'd be honored if you'd hit that like button, subscribe to join our growing family, and drop a comment telling me where in the world you're watching from. Your support means everything. Now, let's dive into Claire's story. The shoulder smells like hot rubber and exhaust. Claire's hand grips the hood, metal burning through her palm as she stares at the steam rising from the engine. The minivan, 15 years old, paid off 3 months ago, makes a sound like grinding teeth. Her son's voice comes through the half-open window. "Mom? Stay inside." She doesn't turn. The highway stretches in both directions, heat rippling off asphalt. 4:30 on a Tuesday. Rush hour building on the other side of the median, but this direction is nearly empty. She pulls her phone from her pocket. The screen shows 2% battery and no service. Behind her, a car slows. She hears the change in engine pitch before she sees it. Something expensive, the kind that purrs instead of rumbles. It pulls onto the shoulder 20 feet back. Claire straightens. Her shirt sticks to her spine. A man gets out. Suit jacket despite the heat, no tie. He's maybe 40, dark hair starting to gray at the temples. He doesn't call out, just walks toward her with the kind of stride that suggests he's used to people moving aside. "Need help?" His voice is neutral, the offer neither warm nor cold. "I called." She stops. She hasn't called anyone. "I'm waiting for a tow." He glances at her phone, still in her hand, screen black now. Doesn't mention it. Instead, he moves past her to look at the engine, bending slightly to see inside. The steam has mostly cleared. "When did it start?" "Overheating?" "About 2 miles back." He straightens. "How many in the car?" The question catches her off guard. "3. My kids." He looks at the minivan, at the car seats visible through the window, at the pile of bags in the back. His gaze moves methodically, cataloging. When he looks at her again, something in his expression has shifted, not softer, but focused differently. "Where are you headed?" Claire's fingers tighten on the phone. "My sister's place, about 40 miles. "In this?" He gestures at the van. "It's never." She stops. The van has overheated twice before, once last summer, once in March. Both times she'd made it to a gas station, poured in coolant, waited. "We'll manage." He pulls out his own phone, types something. "I have a mechanic. He can be here in 20 minutes. "I can't afford." "I didn't ask you to." He's still typing. "He'll tow it to my shop, fix whatever's wrong." Claire takes a step back. Her hip hits the side mirror. "Why would you do that?" He looks up from his phone. "You're stranded on the highway with 2 kids. He pauses. 3? 2. The baby and my daughter. He nods once, a small movement, then returns his attention to his phone. "The tow truck will take you wherever you need to go. Give my mechanic your sister's address." "I don't." Claire stops again. Inside the van, her daughter Emma is unbuckling her seatbelt. Claire can see her in the side mirror, 5 years old, starting to open the door. Stay inside." The man follows her gaze. When Emma's face appears in the window, round cheeks, curious eyes, he raises one hand in a small wave. Emma waves back, then looks at her mother. Claire opens the door. "Seatbelt back on." "I have to pee." "You can wait." "I really have to pee." The man clears his throat. "There's a rest stop 3 miles ahead. I can drive you." Claire turns. No, your van isn't going anywhere. He gestures at the engine. Coolant leak. Maybe worse. Even if you get it running, you won't make it 3 miles. Emma's voice rises. Mom, I really have to. I heard you. Claire's jaw aches. She's been clenching it without realizing. We'll wait for the tow truck. 20 minutes minimum, probably 30. His tone hasn't changed, still that same neutral register. The rest stop has bathrooms. Inside the van, the baby starts crying. Not the hungry cry or the tired cry, but the one that means his diaper is full and getting worse. Claire closes her eyes for 3 seconds, then opens them. Fine. The rest stop. The man's car is black, some make she doesn't recognize. The interior smells like leather and something else, something clean and expensive. Emma climbs into the back seat, her shoes leaving small dirt marks on the floor mat. Claire sees them, almost apologizes, doesn't. The baby's car seat doesn't fit properly. The seatbelt won't thread through the right slot. Here. The man reaches across, his arm brushing hers. His hands are steady, practiced. The belt clicks into place. That should hold. Claire lifts the baby, 10 months old, 22 pounds, heavier every week, and settles him into the seat. He's still crying, face red, fists clenched. She finds his pacifier in her pocket, wipes it on her shirt, gives it to him. He spits it out. The man is already behind the wheel. He doesn't comment on the crying, doesn't ask her to hurry. He waits until she's buckled in, then pulls back onto the highway. Emma talks the entire 3 miles. She tells him about her kindergarten teacher, about the cat that lives behind their old apartment, about how they're going to live with Aunt Diane now because their apartment got sold. Claire's hand moves to her daughter's knee, squeezes once. Emma keeps talking. The rest stop appears on the right, a low concrete building with brown signs. He pulls into a spot near the entrance. Take your time. He doesn't move to unbuckle. Claire gets Emma out first, then reaches for the baby. Her arms are shaking slightly. Low blood sugar probably, or adrenaline finally catching up. She hasn't eaten since breakfast, 6 hours ago. Inside, the bathroom smells like industrial soap and urine. Emma uses the toilet while Claire changes the baby on the pull-down station, wiping him clean with the last 3 wipes in her bag. She'll need to buy more. She'll need to buy diapers. Shit, too. There are only 4 left. When they come back out, the man is leaning against his car, phone to his ear. He sees them and ends the call. Tow truck's at your van. He says it's the water pump. Claire nods like she knows what that means. 300 to fix, parts and labor. He pauses. I told him to do it. I can't pay you back. I didn't ask you to. Emma tugs on Claire's hand. I'm hungry. The man glances at Emma, then at Claire. There's a diner next door. We're fine. Your daughter is hungry. I'll feed her at my sister's. He studies her for a moment, and Claire feels herself being assessed. The worn sneakers, the faded jeans, the stain on her shoulder where the baby spit up this morning. She lifts her chin. The diner has a kids menu, he says. My treat. Why are you doing this? Because you're standing in a rest stop parking lot with 2 hungry kids and no car. He straightens. And because I can. The diner is nearly empty. A waitress with gray hair and tired eyes seats them in a booth by the window. Emma slides in first, then Claire with the baby on her lap. The man sits across from them, his jacket folded on the seat beside him. Menus arrive. Claire doesn't open hers. Emma points at the pictures. Can I have pancakes? It's almost 5 o'clock. They serve breakfast all day, the waitress says. She's looking at Claire with an expression that might be sympathy or might be impatience. Pancakes are fine. The man's voice is quiet but certain. And whatever you want. he adds, nodding at Claire. Claire orders a grilled cheese. The baby gnaws on a sleeve of crackers the waitress brings without being asked. Emma's pancakes arrive first, a stack of 3 with butter melting on top. She eats with both hands, syrup on her fingers, her chin. The man watches her for a moment, then looks at Claire. "How long have you been out of work?" Claire's hands still on the table. "I didn't say I was out of work." "You're moving in with your sister. Your van is 15 years old and you're driving it on a failed water pump. Your daughter just told me you used to live behind a grocery store." He pauses. "I'm not judging. I'm asking." 3 months. The words come out flat. "The restaurant closed. I was a line cook. And before that, the same restaurant. 4 years. He nods, processing. "What else can you do?" Claire's jaw tightens again. "Cook, clean. Show up on time." She stops, then adds, "I have a ServSafe certification. Can you drive?" "Obviously. I mean professionally. Deliver food, run errands." The grilled cheese arrives. Claire doesn't touch it. "Why?" "Because I'm trying to figure out where you'd fit." "Fit where?" "In my organization." He takes a sip of his coffee, sets it down precisely in the center of the saucer. "I own a logistics company. We coordinate shipping, receiving, inventory management. I also own the building where the company operates and the restaurant on the ground floor." Claire stares at him. "You're offering me a job. I'm considering it. You don't know anything about me. I know you kept your kids in the car on a hot day instead of letting them run around on the highway. I know you tried to refuse help even when you needed it. I know you're moving 40 miles to live with family instead of—" He stops. "Instead of other options." The baby drops his cracker. Claire picks it up, wipes it on her jeans, gives it back. She can feel the man watching her, cataloging again. "What kind of job?" "Start in the restaurant kitchen. See how you do. If you're good, maybe you move into catering coordination. We do corporate events, private functions." He pauses. "It pays $16 an hour to start. Health insurance after 90 days. Claire's throat is tight. "Why?" "Because I need people who show up. People who don't quit when things get hard." He leans back. "You drove 2 miles on a broken water pump to get your kids somewhere safe. That tells me something." Emma is watching them now, syrup forgotten. Claire can feel her daughter's attention. The way she's learned to read tension in adult voices. "I'd need childcare," Claire says. "There's a daycare 2 blocks from the building. I can make a call." "I don't have first and last month's rent for an apartment." "The job comes with a signing bonus, $1,000 paid on your first day." Claire picks up her grilled cheese, puts it down. Her hands are shaking again. "When would I start?" "Monday if you want it." "Today is Tuesday. So you have 6 days to get settled." He pulls a business card from his wallet, slides it across the table. "My assistant's number is on the back. Call her tomorrow. She'll set everything up." Claire takes the card. The name printed on the front is James Halford, and underneath it, CEO, Halford Industries. She turns it over. A phone number is handwritten in blue ink. "What's the catch?" "No catch." He signals the waitress for the check. "You work hard, you keep the job. You don't, you're gone. Same as anyone else." The check arrives. He pays in cash, leaves 2 20s on the table for a $30 meal. When they stand, Emma's hands are still sticky. Claire wipes them with a napkin, stuffs the wadded paper in her pocket. Outside, the sun is lower, but the heat hasn't broken. James leads them back to his car. The baby falls asleep before they're out of the parking lot. They drive in silence. Emma leans against the window, her eyelids heavy. Claire watches the road, the card still in her hand. "Why me?" she asks after 10 miles. James keeps his eyes forward. "I told you." "No, really, why?" He's quiet for long enough that she thinks he won't answer. Then, 15 years ago, I was evicted from my apartment. I slept in my car for 3 months while I worked 2 jobs and saved for a deposit on a new place. His voice is still neutral, still controlled. Someone gave me a break. A manager at a shipping warehouse who hired me even though I didn't have a permanent address. I worked there for 2 years, learned the business, eventually started my own company. Claire looks at him. His profile is sharp in the late afternoon light, shadows cutting across his face. So this is charity. No. He glances at her, brief and direct. This is business. I'm betting you'll be good at the job. If I'm wrong, you're fired, and I'm out $1,000. If I'm right, I get a reliable employee who won't walk out the first time something better comes along. How do you know I won't? I don't. He returns his attention to the road, but I'm willing to risk it. They reach her sister's house just before 6. It's a small ranch-style home with a chain-link fence and a yard full of dandelions. Diane's car is in the driveway, a 10-year-old sedan with a dented bumper. James pulls up to the curb, but doesn't turn off the engine. Claire unbuckles, then reaches back to get the baby. He's still asleep, head tilted to one side, pacifier hanging from his mouth. Emma is already out, running toward the front door. Diane opens it before Emma reaches the steps, catching her niece in a hug. Claire lifts the baby carefully, trying not to wake him. When she turns back, James is standing by the trunk. "Your mechanic," she says. "When will the van be ready?" "Tomorrow afternoon. He'll deliver it here. I'll pay you back. It might take a while, but forget it." He closes the trunk. "Consider it part of the signing bonus." Diane is walking toward them now, Emma's hand in hers. She's younger than Claire by 3 years, with the same dark hair but a softer face. Her eyes move from Claire to James, curious and wary. "Diane, this is James Halford." Claire's voice is steady. "He helped us when the van broke down." Diane's expression shifts, still wary but grateful now too. "Thank you. Really, I don't know what she would have done if—" "It's fine." James cuts her off gently. "Claire, call my assistant tomorrow. Her name is Rebecca. She'll get everything arranged." He's back in his car before Claire can respond. Pulling away from the curb with the same smooth precision he's shown all afternoon, she watches until his taillights disappear around the corner. "Who was that?" Diane asks. Claire looks down at the card in her hand. "Someone who gave me a job." Inside, Diane's house smells like spaghetti sauce and laundry detergent. The living room is small, crowded with furniture that doesn't quite fit. A couch, 2 armchairs, a coffee table covered in coloring books and crayons. Emma is already on the floor, spreading out her crayons in a precise line. Diane takes the baby from Claire's arms. "When did he fall asleep?" "In the car." "Did he eat?" "Crackers." Diane nods, carries him down the hall to the spare bedroom. Claire follows, stopping in the doorway. The room has a crib in one corner, borrowed from a neighbor. Diane had said on the phone last week, and a twin bed against the wall. 3 cardboard boxes are stacked by the window, Claire's entire life packed in less than 10 cubic feet. Diane lays the baby in the crib. He stirs but doesn't wake. "So, what happened? With the van?" "Water pump failed. A mechanic is fixing it." "How much?" "It's covered." Diane turns. "By who?" "The guy who helped us. James. He's paying for your car repair?" Diane's voice rises slightly. "Claire, you don't even know him. He offered me a job, too." Diane stares. "Doing what?" "Cooking. Maybe event coordination later." Claire pulls out the card, hands it over. "He owns a logistics company. And a restaurant." Diane reads the card, flips it, reads it again. Halford Industries. I've heard of them. She looks up. They're big, like really big. He said to call his assistant tomorrow. And you're going to? Claire takes the card back. Yes. Claire. Diane's voice is careful. This seems fast. I mean, he just met you on the side of the highway and offered you a job? He said he needs people who show up. But what? Claire's hands are fists now, the card crumpling slightly. But I should keep looking? Keep applying to restaurants that won't hire me because I've been out of work for 3 months? Keep sleeping on your couch while I drain your grocery budget? Diane flinches. I didn't mean... I know what you meant. Claire's voice is quieter now, but tight. And maybe you're right. Maybe this is too good to be true. But right now, it's the only thing I've got. They stand in silence. From the living room, Emma calls out, asking for the red crayon. Diane moves past Claire, her shoulder brushing her sister's arm. Claire stays in the doorway, watching the baby sleep. His breathing is even, his fists curled near his face. She thinks about the diner, about James sitting across from her, his expression neutral and assessing. She thinks about the way he'd threaded the seatbelt through the car seat, practiced and efficient like he'd done it before. Her phone buzzes. 1% battery, but enough for a text. It's from a number she doesn't recognize. This is Rebecca Chen, Mr. Halford's assistant. He asked me to reach out. Please call me tomorrow at 9 a.m. to discuss your employment. Looking forward to speaking with you. Claire reads it twice. The phone dies before she can respond. That night, she lies on Diane's couch with a borrowed blanket and a pillow that smells like fabric softener. Emma is in the spare bedroom with the baby, both of them finally asleep after an hour of whispered conversations and lullabies. Claire closes her eyes but doesn't sleep. She thinks about the restaurant where she worked for 4 years, the kitchen with its temperamental stove and the walk-in freezer that never quite closed properly. She thinks about the morning the owner called everyone in early to tell them he was selling the building, that they had 2 weeks. She thinks about the applications she filled out after that, 23 in the first month, 18 in the second, 9 in the third, as her savings dwindled and desperation made her handwriting messy. She thinks about the interviews where managers looked at the gap in her employment, at her address in a part of town they recognized, and thanked her for her time. She thinks about James Halford's hands on the seatbelt, steady and sure. She thinks about the way he'd watched Emma eat pancakes, his expression unreadable. She thinks about what he'd said. Someone gave me a break. At 3 in the morning, she gets up. The house is dark except for the kitchen nightlight, a small yellow glow above the sink. She finds her purse on the counter, pulls out the crumpled card. James Halford, CEO. She runs her thumb over the embossed letters. At 9 the next morning, Claire calls from Diane's landline. Rebecca answers on the second ring. Ms. Morrison, thank you for calling. Her voice is crisp, but not unkind. Mr. Halford briefed me on your situation. I have a few things to arrange. Okay. Claire is standing in Diane's kitchen, the phone cord stretched taut. Emma is eating cereal at the table. The baby in his high chair with pieces of banana. First, the signing bonus. I'll have a check ready for you Monday morning. You'll need to bring 2 forms of ID and fill out some tax paperwork. I have my driver's license and social security card. Perfect. Second, childcare. There's an opening at Little Scholars Daycare on Mitchell Street. It's $15 a day for both kids, but Mr. Halford has arranged for the company to cover the first month. Claire's hand tightens on the phone. He doesn't have to. It's part of the employment package for new hires with dependents. Rebecca's tone suggests this is not up for negotiation. Third, your schedule. You'll start Monday at 6 a.m. in the kitchen. The head chef is Maria Santos. She's expecting you. 6 a.m. Claire is already calculating. Wake up at 4:30, get the kids ready. Drop them at daycare by 5:45. It's possible. Barely. Is that a problem? No. Good. Your shift ends at 2:30 p.m., which gives you time to pick up the kids. Do you have reliable transportation? My van should be fixed today. Mr. Halford mentioned that. If there are any issues, let me know. Rebecca pauses. Do you have any questions? Claire has 100 questions. She asks the most important one. Why is he doing this? Rebecca is quiet for a moment. Mr. Halford believes in investing in people. If you work hard, you'll do well here. If you don't, you won't last long. It's that simple. And if I need to take time off? If one of my kids gets sick? We have PTO that accrues after the first 30 days. Before that, we evaluate on a case-by-case basis. Rebecca's voice softens slightly. Maria has 3 kids of her own. She understands. The van arrives at 2 that afternoon, delivered by a man in grease-stained coveralls who hands Claire the keys and a receipt marked, "Paid in full." She runs her hand over the hood, opens the driver's door. The interior smells like cheap air freshener and something else, something mechanical and new. She turns the key. The engine starts immediately, a smooth hum instead of the grinding rattle she's gotten used to. She sits behind the wheel, hands at 10 and 2, and feels something in her chest loosen. Diane appears at the window. It sounds good. Yeah, Claire's voice is rough. She clears her throat. Yeah, it does. That weekend, she borrows $20 from Diane and buys a pair of non-slip kitchen shoes from a thrift store. They're half a size too big, but she stuffs tissue in the toes. She finds her old chef's knife in one of the boxes, the handle worn smooth from years of use, and sharpens it on Diane's whetstone until the edge gleams. Sunday night, she sets her alarm for 4:15. She doesn't sleep, just lies on the couch and watches the ceiling fan rotate in the dark. Monday morning arrives cold and gray. Claire is dressed by 4:30, black pants, white shirt, her hair pulled back in a tight bun. She wakes the kids at 5, gets them dressed while they're still half asleep. The baby cries when she straps him into his car seat. Emma is silent, her eyes wide and worried. It's okay, Claire tells her, even though Emma hasn't asked. This is going to be okay. The drive takes 22 minutes. Little Scholars Daycare is in a converted house with a fenced yard and a sign shaped like an alphabet block. Claire carries the baby inside while Emma follows, clutching her backpack. A woman in her 50s greets them. You must be Claire. I'm Donna. She crouches to Emma's level. And you're Emma, right? We have a whole play kitchen set up in the pre-K room. Do you like to cook? Emma looks at Claire. Claire nods. Emma says, My mom's a cook. Is she? Donna stands, takes the baby from Claire's arms with practiced ease. Well, maybe she can teach us some recipes sometime. Claire fills out forms, emergency contacts, allergies, pickup authorization. Her handwriting is messier than usual, her fingers stiff from gripping the pen too hard. When she finishes, Donna walks her to the door. They'll be fine, Donna says, reading something in Claire's face. First day is always hard on the parents. Claire nods. She doesn't trust herself to speak. The restaurant is 3 blocks away, tucked into the ground floor of a glass and steel building. The sign reads, Provisions in clean sans serif letters. Claire parks in the back lot marked Staff Only and sits in her van for 30 seconds, breathing. Then she gets out. The kitchen entrance is unlocked. Inside, the space is bigger than she expected. 2 stoves, 3 prep stations, a walk-in cooler, industrial dishwasher. A woman in her 40s is chopping onions at the center island, her knife moving in quick, confident strokes. She looks up when Claire enters. You Morrison? Yes, Claire. Maria. She doesn't offer her hand, just gestures at the empty station to her left. You're on prep today. Dice these. She slides a box of bell peppers across the counter. 1/4-inch pieces. We need 8 cups for lunch service. Claire ties on an apron, pulls out her knife. The weight is familiar, comforting. She picks up the first pepper, cores it, starts cutting. Maria watches for maybe 10 seconds, then returns to her onions. They work in silence. At 7, 2 more cooks arrive, a young guy named Carlos and an older woman who introduces herself only as chef. By 7:30, the kitchen is loud with clanging pans and running water and orders being called out. Claire moves from peppers to tomatoes to herbs, her hands finding the rhythm she thought she'd lost. Maria appears at her station at 8:15. "You're fast." "I worked in a kitchen for 4 years. Halford mentioned that. Maria picks up a piece of Claire's diced pepper. Examines it. "Consistent. Good." She sets it down. "Lunch service starts at 11. You'll be on salad station. Think you can handle it?" "Yes." "Don't make me regret that answer." Lunch service is chaos. Tickets pour in, the printer chattering constantly. Claire assembles salads with mechanical precision. Greens, toppings, dressing on the side, garnish. Her hands move faster than her thoughts. Beside her, Carlos is plating entrees, his movements equally automatic. By 2, the rush is over. Claire's feet ache despite the shoes. Her shoulders are tight from hunching over the cutting board. But when Mariah tells her to clean her station and clock out, something in her chest loosens again. She's done it. Day 1. Rebecca appears in the kitchen doorway at 2:20. "Claire, do you have a minute?" Claire follows her out into the hallway. Rebecca hands her an envelope. "Your signing bonus. And your first week's schedule." Rebecca's expression is neutral, professional. "Mr. Halford wanted me to check in. How was your first day?" "Good." Claire opens the envelope, sees the check inside. $1,000 made out to Claire Morrison. Her vision blurs for a second. She blinks hard. "It was good." "Maria said you did well." Rebecca pauses. "If you need anything, you have my number." Claire picks up the kids at 3. Emma talks the entire drive home, telling her about the play kitchen and the other kids and the snack they had. The baby is asleep in his car seat, his face peaceful. When they get to Diane's house, Claire's sister is waiting on the porch. "How'd it go?" Claire hands her the check. "I need to open a bank account." Diane stares at the number. "Claire, I know. This is real. I know." They deposit the check the next morning. Claire keeps $200 in cash and gives $50 to Diane for groceries. The rest she saves, watching the balance in her new account like it might disappear if she looks away. The first week passes in a blur of early mornings and aching feet. Maria is exacting but fair, correcting Claire's technique without cruelty. By Friday, Claire is on grill station, flipping burgers and searing steaks with the same precision she brought to dicing vegetables. On Saturday, her first day off, she sleeps until 7. It feels like a luxury. The second week, Maria pulls her aside after lunch service. "Halford wants to see you." Claire's stomach drops. "Why?" "Didn't say. His office is on the 10th floor. The elevator is glass-walled, offering a view of the city as it rises. Claire watches the buildings shrink below her, her reflection ghostly in the window. She's still in her kitchen whites, her hair escaping from its bun. The 10th floor is all polished wood and quiet voices. A receptionist directs her down a hallway to a corner office. James is standing by the window when she enters, his back to the door. He turns at the sound of her footsteps. "Claire, thank you for coming up." He gestures to a chair. "Sit." She sits. The chair is leather, expensive. She keeps her spine straight, her hands folded in her lap. James remains standing. "Maria says you're doing well." "I'm trying." "She also says you've picked up our systems faster than any new hire she's had in 2 years. He moves to his desk, picks up a folder. "I'm moving you to catering coordination. Starting Monday, Claire's breath catches. Sir, I've only been here 2 weeks. And in those 2 weeks, you've shown up on time every day, worked through lunch without complaint, and produced consistent quality. He opens the folder. The catering coordinator position pays $22 an hour. You'll work with corporate clients, manage orders, coordinate with Marie on menu planning. It's more responsibility. I don't know anything about event planning. You'll learn. He closes the folder, sets it on the desk. You start Monday. Rebecca will brief you tomorrow. Claire stands. Her legs are unsteady. Why are you doing this? James looks at her directly. Because you're good at what you do, and because I don't waste talent. She wants to argue, to insist she's not ready, that 2 weeks isn't enough time to prove anything. But the words stick in her throat. Thank you, she says instead. Don't thank me. Earn it. The catering coordinator office is smaller than the kitchen, but quieter. Claire shares it with another coordinator, a woman named Priya, who's been with the company for 5 years. Priya shows her the ordering system, the client database, the templates for proposals. Most of our clients are corporate, Priya explains, pulling up a spreadsheet. Quarterly meetings, product launches, holiday parties. We also do some private events, weddings, anniversaries. Those are less frequent but higher budget. Claire takes notes in a spiral notebook, her handwriting cramped and urgent. The first client meeting is on Thursday. A tech company wants to order lunch for a 100-person conference. Claire sits beside Priya, silent, while Priya walks the client through menu options and pricing. Afterward, Priya turns to her. Next one, you take the lead. You've worked in food service for 4 years. You know what tastes good and what doesn't. That's 90% of this job. Priya's smile is small but genuine. The other 10% is not panicking when a client changes their order 2 hours before the event. The next client is easier. A law firm, 50 people. Dietary restrictions clearly listed. Claire walks them through the options, suggests a menu, sends the proposal. They approve it within an hour. By the end of the first month, Claire has coordinated 8 events. 6 go smoothly. 1 has a last-minute guest count increase that requires frantic calls to Maria. 1 gets canceled entirely, the client apologetic but firm. Claire works through each crisis with the same methodical focus she brought to chopping vegetables. Identify the problem, find the solution, execute. Priya watches her, approval evident in the way she starts assigning Claire the more complicated clients. In mid-October, Rebecca calls Claire into her office. We have a private event next month, Rebecca says, sliding a file across her desk. Anniversary party for a major donor to the City Arts Foundation. 200 guests, 4-course plated dinner. Claire opens the file. The budget makes her blink. This is our biggest event this quarter, Rebecca finishes. Mr. Halford wants you to coordinate it. Priya has more experience. Priya is managing 3 corporate events the same week. You're available. Rebecca leans back in her chair. Can you handle it? Claire looks at the file again. The client name is listed as Patterson Foundation. The event date is November 15th. She calculates in her head. 3 weeks to plan, source, coordinate. Yes, she says. The planning consumes her. She meets with the client, a woman named Judith Patterson who speaks in precise, clipped sentences and has opinions about everything from napkin color to garnish placement. Claire takes notes, nods, asks clarifying questions. Maria designs the menu with Claire's input. Roasted beet salad, butternut squash soup, herb-crusted salmon, chocolate torte. They do a tasting for Mrs. Patterson, adjusting seasoning and presentation until she nods her approval. Claire coordinates rentals, staffing, timeline. She creates spreadsheets tracking every detail, color-coded and cross-referenced. Priya glances at them once and whistles low. You're going to do fine, she says. The night before the event, Claire barely sleeps. She lies on Diane's couch and runs through the timeline in her head. Setup at 2, staff arrives at 4, guests at 6:30, dinner at 7. She's accounted for delays, for substitutions, for equipment failures, but she's still terrified. The event is at a gallery downtown, all white walls and polished concrete floors. Claire arrives at 1 to supervise setup. The rental company is late with the tables. The florist delivers the wrong color roses. The bartender calls in sick. Claire fixes each problem without stopping to panic, borrows tables from the gallery's storage room, sends the florist back for the right roses, calls a backup bartender from her contact list. By 6, the space is transformed. Tables with white linens, centerpieces of cream roses and eucalyptus, soft lighting from rented fixtures. The kitchen, a catering space adjacent to the gallery, is organized chaos, Maria directing her team with sharp efficiency. Claire stands at the entrance, clipboard in hand as the first guests arrive. She greets them, directs them to the bar, keeps one eye on the kitchen door. Dinner service begins at 7:15. Courses come out on schedule, each plate perfect. Claire circulates, checking tables, ensuring water glasses stay filled. She sees Mrs. Patterson seated at the center table, her expression neutral. By 9, dessert is served. By 9:30, guests are lingering over coffee and conversation. Mrs. Patterson approaches Claire near the kitchen. "Ms. Morrison." Her tone is formal. Claire braces for criticism. "Yes?" "The dinner was excellent. Please extend my compliments to your chef." Claire feels something in her shoulders release. "I will. Thank you." Mrs. Patterson pauses, studying her. "This was your first large event, wasn't it?" "Yes, ma'am." "You didn't tell me that during planning." "You didn't ask." A small smile crosses Mrs. Patterson's face. "No, I didn't." She extends her hand. "Well done." Claire shakes it, her grip firm. Cleanup takes until midnight. Claire works alongside the catering staff, breaking down tables, packing supplies. Maria leaves at 11, but not before catching Claire's arm. "Good job tonight." Claire nods, too tired for more words. She drives home in silence, the city dark and empty. When she pulls into Diane's driveway, all the lights are off. She lets herself in quietly, kicks off her shoes, collapses onto the couch. She's asleep in seconds. Monday morning, Rebecca calls her upstairs. Claire climbs to the 10th floor, her stomach knotting. Rebecca's office is smaller than James's, but just as neat. She gestures to a chair. "Mrs. Patterson called this morning," Rebecca says. Claire's hands tighten in her lap. "She wants to book us for 3 more events next year, and she's referring us to 2 other foundations." Rebecca slides a paper across the desk. "This is your new salary, effective immediately." Claire reads the number. $28 an hour. Her voice cracks. She clears her throat. "Thank you." "You earned it." Rebecca's expression is professional, but warm. "Mr. Halford also wanted me to tell you that we're opening a second catering division early next year. If you're interested in a management position, let me know." Claire nods, unable to speak. That night, she takes Diane and the kids out to dinner at a chain restaurant with a kids' menu and oversized portions. Emma orders spaghetti. The baby throws crackers on the floor. Diane keeps looking at Claire like she's trying to figure out who her sister has become. "You look different," Diane says finally. "I'm tired." "No, not tired. Just different." Claire doesn't know how to explain it. The way her spine feels straighter, the way she can meet strangers' eyes now without flinching. So she just says, "I'm okay. We're okay." In December, the company holiday party is held at Provisions. It's casual, staff-only, buffet-style food, drinks from the bar. Claire arrives with Maria, the 2 of them laughing about a mishap from the lunch service earlier. James is there, standing near the bar with Rebecca. He's in slacks and a button-down, no tie, looking more relaxed than Claire has ever seen him. He catches her eye across the room. Nods once. Claire nods back. Later, when the party is winding down, James approaches her. "Can we talk?" They step into the hallway. The noise from the party fades to a dull hum. "I wanted to check in," he says. "It's been 4 months. How are things?" "Good. Really good." Claire pauses. "I found an apartment. 2 bedrooms, close to the daycare. I'm moving in next week." "That's great." His expression is genuinely pleased. "And the kids?" "Emma loves her preschool. The baby is starting to walk." "And you?" Claire considers the question. "I feel like I can breathe again." James nods slowly. "I'm glad." They stand in silence for a moment. Claire can hear laughter from the party, the clink of glasses. "Why did you really help me?" she asks, "that day on the highway?" James is quiet, his gaze steady. "I told you. Someone gave me a break once. But you didn't know if I'd be good at this. You didn't know if I'd even show up." "No," he agrees. "I didn't. So you took a gamble. I saw someone who needed a chance, and I had the means to give it." He pauses. "That's all it was." Claire shakes her head. "That's not all it was. You could have just paid for the van and left, or given me money and never seen me again. But you didn't." "No." "Why?" He looks past her, down the hallway. "Because I've been where you were. Not exactly, but close enough. And I remember what it felt like to have nothing except the choice to keep going or give up." He looks at her again. "You didn't give up." "I respected that." Claire's throat is tight. "I almost did. That day. When the van broke down, I sat there thinking, maybe this was it. Maybe I should just..." She stops. "But Emma was watching me, and I couldn't let her see me quit." "So you kept going?" "I didn't have a choice." "Everyone has a choice," James says quietly. "You chose to keep going. That's what mattered." They return to the party. Claire finds Maria and they talk about menu changes for January. James stays near the bar, talking to Rebecca and the restaurant manager. But twice, Claire catches him looking in her direction. Both times, he nods. Both times, she nods back. On New Year's Eve, Claire works the dinner service for a private event, a corporate party with champagne toast and too loud music. She doesn't mind. The overtime pay means she can buy Emma new shoes and still have money left for savings. She picks up the kids from Diane's at 11:30. Emma is asleep on the couch, the baby in a pack and play in the corner. "How was it?" Diane asks. "Long, loud." Claire lifts Emma carefully, settling her daughter against her shoulder. "But good. You're working tomorrow?" "Brunch service. I'll be home by 3. Diane helps her carry the kids to the van. The night is cold, frost already forming on the windshield. Claire buckles them in, her fingers stiff from the temperature. "Claire," Diane says as she's climbing into the driver's seat. Claire pauses. "I'm proud of you." Claire's eyes burn. She blinks hard. "Thanks." She drives to the new apartment. A small 2-bedroom on the 3rd floor of a building with an elevator that only works half the time. The living room is sparsely furnished. A couch from Craigslist, a coffee table Diane gave her, a TV she bought on sale. But it's hers. She tucks Emma into bed, changes the baby, sets him in his crib. Then she stands in the kitchen, looking at the refrigerator covered in Emma's drawings, at the grocery list magnetized to the door, at the clean counters she wiped down that morning before work. 6 months ago, she was sleeping on her sister's couch with 2 cardboard boxes and a broken van. Now she has a job, an apartment, a savings account with nearly $3,000. She thinks about James, about the way he'd looked at her that first day on the highway, assessing, calculating, deciding. She thinks about the risk he took, the bet he made. She pulls out her phone, scrolls to Rebecca's number. She types, "Thank you for giving me a chance. I won't waste it." The response comes 2 minutes later. "You already proved that. Happy New Year, Claire?" Claire sets her phone down. She makes tea, sits on her Craigslist couch, and watches the city lights through her window. At midnight, fireworks erupt in the distance. Emma calls out from her bedroom, woken by the noise. Claire goes to her, sits on the edge of the bed. "It's just fireworks, baby. Go back to sleep." Emma's eyes are heavy. "Mom? Yeah? Are we staying here, in this apartment?" "Yes." "For how long?" Claire smooths her daughter's hair. "As long as we need to." Emma nods, already drifting off. Claire stays until her breathing evens, then returns to the living room. She thinks about the question James asked her. How are things? She thinks about her answer. I can breathe again. It's true. For the first time in months, maybe years, she can breathe. In January, Claire is promoted to senior catering coordinator. The management position Rebecca mentioned comes with it. She'll oversee 2 junior coordinators and handle the highest budget events. The raise is significant. $35 an hour. Claire stares at the offer letter for a full minute before signing it. She calls Diane first. Her sister screams so loud, Claire has to pull the phone away from her ear. "You're messing with me." "I'm not." "Claire, Diane does the math out loud. That's over $70,000 a year. I know. You're going to be okay." Claire's voice is steady. "I know." The first major event under her new title is a product launch for a tech startup. 300 guests, full bar, past appetizers, and a plated dinner. The client is demanding, changing details until the day before the event. Claire handles it. She's learned to anticipate problems, to build contingencies into every plan. When the client requests a menu change 6 hours before service, Claire doesn't panic. She calls Maria, who grumbles but makes it work. The event is flawless. The client sends a thank you note and a referral to 4 other companies. In March, Claire hires her first junior coordinator, a recent culinary school graduate named Sam, who's eager and nervous. Claire teaches him the systems, shows him how to manage client expectations, how to stay calm when everything is falling apart. She realizes, like Maria. In April, James calls her to his office. Claire climbs to the 10th floor, wondering what she's done wrong. He's at his desk when she enters, reading something on his computer. He gestures to a chair without looking up. "I have a proposition," he says. Claire sits. James closes his laptop, turns to face her. "I'm opening a 3rd location of Provisions. Upscale, focused on private events and catering. I want you to run it." Claire's breath stops. "Run it?" "Full operations. You'd manage the kitchen staff, coordinate all events, handle client relationships. You'd report directly to me." "I'm not," she stops. "I don't have the experience for that." "You have 10 months of experience coordinating events that have generated over $2 million in revenue. You have management skills, you're organized, reliable, and clients trust you." He pauses. "What more do you need?" "I've never managed a restaurant." "You'd have support. Maria would consult on the kitchen setup. Rebecca would handle the administrative logistics. But the operation would be yours." Claire's hands are shaking. She presses them flat against her thighs. "What's the salary?" $80,000 base, plus performance bonuses tied to revenue." The number is absurd. Claire almost laughs. "I need to think about it." "Take the weekend." James's expression is unreadable. "But Claire, you can do this. I wouldn't offer if I didn't believe that." She drives home in a daze. That night she calls Diane. "He wants me to run a restaurant." "And you said yes, right?" "I said I'd think about it." "What's there to think about?" Diane's voice is impatient. This is everything you've worked for. What if I fail? What if you don't? Claire is silent. Look, Diane says, softer now. 6 months ago, you were sleeping on my couch, trying to figure out how to feed your kids. Now you're worried about managing a restaurant. That's a good problem to have. Claire closes her eyes. I'm scared. I know. But you've been scared before, and you did it anyway. On Monday, Claire tells James yes. The new restaurant opens in September. It's in a converted warehouse in the Arts District, all exposed brick and industrial lighting. Claire oversees every detail: the kitchen equipment, the staff hiring, the menu design. She works 16-hour days for 2 months straight. Emma and the baby spend more time with Diane than with her. Claire hates it, but doesn't stop. Opening night. The restaurant is fully booked. Claire stands in the kitchen, watching Maria's team execute the menu they've practiced for weeks. She circulates through the dining room, checking tables, greeting guests. At 10, when the last party leaves, the staff gathers in the kitchen. Maria raises a glass of champagne. To Claire, she says, who didn't kill any of us during prep. Everyone laughs. Claire feels tears prick her eyes. She blinks them away. James appears in the kitchen doorway. Claire didn't know he was there. A word, he says. They step into the office. James closes the door. How do you feel? He asks. Exhausted. Claire leans against the desk. Relieved, terrified. That sounds about right. He's quiet for a moment. You did good work tonight. The team did good work. You built the team. You trained them. You created the systems. He pauses. This is your success, Claire. Own it. She nods, not trusting her voice. I have something for you. He pulls an envelope from his jacket pocket. Performance bonus. Based on the pre-opening reservations and projected revenue. Claire opens it. The check inside is for $15,000. Her knees wobble. She sits down hard in the office chair. This is what you earned. She stares at the check. Her hands are shaking again. I don't know what to say. You don't have to say anything. James's voice is quiet. You showed up on the side of the highway with 2 kids and a broken van, and no plan except to keep going. You took the job I offered even though you had every reason to think it was too good to be true. You worked harder than anyone I've ever hired. He pauses. This is just me keeping my end of the deal. Claire looks up. What deal? The one where I bet on you and you prove me right. She laughs, wet and shaky. I'm still terrified I'm going to screw this up. Good. That means you're taking it seriously. He moves toward the door, then stops. Claire, you're going to be fine. Better than fine. After he leaves, Claire sits alone in the office, holding the check. Through the door, she can hear the staff cleaning up, their voices tired but happy. She thinks about the woman she was a year ago. Desperate, ashamed, convinced she'd failed her children. She thinks about the woman she is now. Manager of a restaurant, leader of a team, someone people trust. She thinks about James, about the choice he made to help a stranger. She folds the check carefully and puts it in her pocket. In November, the restaurant is profitable. In December, they're fully booked through New Year's. In January, Claire hires 2 more coordinators and a sous chef. The rhythm of the work becomes familiar. Events to coordinate, staff to manage, problems to solve. Claire handles it all with the same methodical focus she brought to dicing vegetables 2 years ago. She moves into a bigger apartment, a 3-bedroom with a yard where Emma can play. She buys a new car, a used sedan that doesn't smell like burned oil. She opens a college fund for both kids. On the anniversary of the day she met James, 2 years to the day, Claire drives to the highway where her van broke down. She pulls onto the shoulder, the same spot where she stood with steam rising from her engine and no idea what came next. She sits in her car, engine running, and looks at the road. Her phone rings. It's James. "Where are you?" he asks. "We have the budget meeting in 20 minutes. I'm on my way." She puts the car in drive. "I'll be there in 10. She pulls back onto the highway, merging into traffic with easy confidence. In the rearview mirror, the shoulder disappears. She doesn't look back. And so Claire's journey reminds us that our darkest moments can become our greatest turning points, but only if we're brave enough to accept help when it arrives and strong enough to prove we deserved it all along. Here's my challenge to you. If this story stirred something in your heart, if it made you believe again that good people still exist and second chances are real, then prove it. Hit that like button right now. Subscribe so you never miss another story of hope and transformation. And in the comments, I want to know, have you ever been the person who needed help or the person who gave it? Share your story. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. Remember, we're not just watching stories here. We're building a community that believes in the power of human kindness. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, keep believing, keep striving, and never underestimate what you're capable of becoming. Be blessed.